I'm honored to have you here, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, friends, to our video dedicated to Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University. Let's dive right in and uncover its wonders. The Precarpathian National University, abbreviated as PNU, is a public research university in Ivano-Frankivsk. It is one of the oldest institutions of higher education in Western Ukraine. The history of the university dates back to March 15, 1940, when Stanislav Teacher Training Institute was established. Later, in 1950, it was renamed Stanislav since 1960 to Ivano-Frankivsk Pedagogical Institute. In January 1971, the institution was renamed after a famous Ukrainian writer Vasyl Stefanyk by the decree of the Council of Ministers of the USSR. After the dissolution of the USSR, the Precarpathian University was founded on the base of Ivano-Frankivsk State Pedagogical Institute on August 26, 1992. On September 14, 2004, the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine awarded the university the national status by its Decree 204. Currently, the university unites 8 educational institutes, 6 faculties, 3 educational and consulting centers, 1 college, 11 research centers, postgraduate educational and pre-university training center, information technology center, the Center of Distance Learning and Knowledge Control, teaching management, scientific and research department, dendrological park arboretum and botanical garden. University administration. Victor Sependa, Doctor of Political Sciences, Professor, Honorary Doctor of the University of Warsaw, Poland, 2015, Member of the Ukrainian Academy of Political Science. Vice Rector for Research Work Andriy Zaharniak, Doctor of Physics and Mathematics, Professor. Vice Rector for Scientific and Pedagogical Work Suri Sherin, Doctor of Physics and Mathematics. Vice Rector for Scientific and Pedagogical Work Halina Mikhailishin, Doctor of Philosophy, Professor, Honored Worker of Education. Let's now turn our gaze towards accommodation and catering and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. The campus includes 6 dormitories for 2,700 beds. Students and university staff can live there. The housing facilities are divided by a need-based formula. Let's zoom in on history and understand its implications. Galicia became a part of the USSR in September 1939. The positive outcome of this historical event was the unification of all Ukrainian lands in one state. It enabled the development of public education. At that time, the Precarpathian region faced a severe shortage of teaching staff. Therefore, local authorities asked the government of USSR to establish a teacher training institute, and in January 1940 preparations for its opening began. As a result, on March 1 that year a new educational establishment opened its doors. 3 departments were created in the institute: Department of History Dean T. Veliky, Department of Physics and Mathematics Dean M. Kol, and Philological Department with 2 sub-departments, the Ukrainian Language and Literature and the Russian Language and Literature Dean M. Shmulenzen. Regionally, it did not have its own building. It was using the classrooms in the commercial school. Overcrowding, lack of training equipment, and educational and methodological literature were the main obstacles on the way to a proper development of the institute. Despite the difficulties, the institute actively pursued its activities. Before the war, 900 future teachers studied there. However, with the Second World War, many students and teachers went to fight, and some of them were evacuated. In particular, the first dean of the Philological Department, L. Shmulenzen, teachers W. Chorny, L. Brezin, I. Popovsky, L. Nisanov died in the battles somewhere between Zhytomyr and Berdichev. The first dean of the Faculty of History, P. Veliky, was killed at Stalingrad. The first director of the Institute, Fahrenheit Plotnitsky, died in a Gestapo torture chamber in Neumann. Some of those who remained alive after the war continued to work in other institutions and establishments. During the Nazi occupation, the Teacher Training Institute was closed, its property was robbed, and the school building was burnt. The amount of losses reached 3 million rubles. After the liberation of the land from the German invaders, measures to restore the work of Stanislav Teacher Training Institute were taken. The first post-war academic year began on November 1, 1940 in the building in Shevchenko Street. In July 1945, the first 13 graduates gained their teaching diplomas. The 1945-1950 were the Reconstruction years. A new stage in the work of the educational institution began in the 50s. The Stanislav Teacher Training Institute became the Pedagogical Institute according to the resolution of Council of Ministers of the USSR on August 4, 1950. The training of highly qualified teachers has started. Unfortunately, the institute could not avoid the domination of totalitarian regime that affected all aspects of the institute life. The declarations, ideology, policies of the USSR had to be implemented and reflected in the educational process. The staff of the institute once again worked under difficult conditions because of the changes in curricula and temporary staff reduction. The institute was preparing teachers of a broader qualification. In 1963, the General Scientific Faculty was created. It became the fourth one alongside the History and Philology Department, Physics and Mathematics Faculty, as well as the Faculty of the Methodology and Pedagogy of Primary Education. The main objective of the General Science Faculty was to provide higher education for part-time students so they could keep their jobs. Hundreds of students from the universities of Kiev, Kharkiv, Lviv, Donetsk, and Chernivtsi who lived and worked in Ivano-Frankivsk region enriched the number of the attenders of this faculty. It is worth mentioning that scientific work was developing too. The institute started to publish the memoirs since 1956. 23 dissertations were defended within a short period of time from the date of the establishing of the institute to 1965. Obviously, this number wasn't very impressive, but it was legitimate for the developing of the educational institution. The history of the institute during the Soviet times had some other sad pages. In August and September 1965, the end of the Khrushchev period resulted in series of political arrests of the Ukrainian dissidents of the 60s who were speaking against Russification policy, injustice, and stood up for the sovereignty of Ukraine. The arrests touched the professors of Ivano-Frankivsk Pedagogical University too. Valentin Moroz, professor of recent history, who had been working at the institute for just a year, was restrained by investigating authorities on August 31, 1965. The court held in Lutsk delivered the judgment, 4 years in a hard labor prison camp for his anti-Soviet agitation and propaganda. After being released in September 1969, he was restrained and imprisoned again for his new articles. Luckily, V. Moroz and 4 other dissidents were exchanged for 2 revealed in the United States of America Soviet spies 1979. Abroad, Moroz defended his doctorate dissertation. V. Kravets 1957-1967, candidate of philosophy, assistant professor. O. Ostenko 1967-1980, candidate of economics, professor. Vasyl 1980-1982, Doctor of History, Professor. I. Kokarek 1982-1986, Candidate of Physics and Mathematics, Assistant Professor, were at the head of the institute. In 1966, the Music and Pedagogical Faculty, which prepared teachers of music and singing art for secondary schools, was established in the institute. The honored artist of the USSR, Assistant Professor V. Pashenko, was the first dean of the department. Some important changes took place at other faculties too. Thus, in 1969, the Historical and Philological Faculty was divided into the Historical and Pedagogical Department and the Philological one. The first of the two offered its students not only the profession of a history and social study teacher but of a methodologist of the educational work as well. A memorable date in the history of Ivano-Frankivsk Pedagogical Institute was January 5, 1971, when the name of the famous Ukrainian writer Vasyl Stefanyk was conferred to the establishment. Nowadays the Precarpathian National University uses it with honor. In 1971, the philology department opened a specialty, the English language, and in 1975 a new faculty of foreign languages was established. Since 1977, graduate students have been given the qualification of a teacher of English and German. At the beginning of perestroika in the mid-years, a new period in the life of the institute began. In 1986, the institute got a new rector, Doctor of Philological Sciences, Professor Vasyl. He put much energy and efforts into the development and transformation of the institute into a modern European educational establishment, authoritative scientific center. First of all, the material and technical basis of the institute strengthened. The new building for classrooms, the concert hall and the library with its fund, which comprised more than 500 volumes, started operating. In 1988, the doors of the 8-story building of humanitarian faculties were open for students. An active process of updating the content of higher education, searching for new and more effective teaching methods has begun. In 1987, graphic art department was designed to train the teachers of fine arts, drawing and manual training. The proclamation of Ukrainian independence and the development of national statehood created new conditions for the development of the educational system, including higher education. New tasks were given to teachers and scientists. It was necessary to provide residents with wider, thorough education which could meet standards of the modern life. This was possible only at a classical university. That's why the teaching staff of the institute submitted the application for getting a new status, the status of a university, to the first president of Ukraine, L. Kravchuk. On September 26, 1992, L. Kravchuk signed the decree on the reorganization of Ivano-Frankivsk State Pedagogical Institute into Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian University. At that time, the educational establishment with its scientific potential occupied one of the leading places among the pedagogical institutions in Ukraine. Educational activities and research work were done by 240 staff members. Among them there were 20 doctors of sciences, professors, 181 candidates of sciences, and associate professors at 36 departments. Most of them had already worked according to university standards, and hence, they had provided much deeper knowledge than the Pedagogical Institute had required. The student staff included 3,950 full-time students and 2,400 part-time students. The development of the educational establishment in the status of university gained momentum. 1994 Department of Regional Problems of the Institute of Political and Ethnic Studies of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine and Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian University was created. 1996 Research Institute of Ukrainian Studies was established. 1999 Institute of Physics and Chemistry, Institute and Pedagogical College were opened for work in Colombia. 1997 On a 5-year period of its existence in independent Ukraine, our university was training 70 students and junior specialists in 22 specialties. New faculties were established: law, economics, philosophy, natural sciences, and preparatory courses. New specialties were introduced because of lack of professionals in the region: jurisprudence, finance and credit, accounting and auditing, psychology, religious studies, Polish language and literature, chemistry, biology, decorative and applied arts, design, and social pedagogy. 2001 Faculty of Pedagogy was reorganized into Institute of Pedagogy. Faculties of Graphic Arts and Musical Pedagogy were reorganized into Institute of Culture and Arts, later into the Institute of Arts. In 2002, Law Institute was established on the basis of the same name faculty. Just a year later, the Institute of Tourism started its work and welcomed the first students. Considering the significant contribution of the Precarpathian University to the preparation of highly qualified specialists, fruitful scientific and educational work of the teaching staff, on 21 August 2004 Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian University got a status of a national one by the Presidential Decree No. 958 of 21 August 2004 and by the decree of Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine No. 718 of 13 September 2004. In 2005, Doctor of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, Professor Vasyl Stefanyk was elected as Rector of the university. That year the Computer Maintenance Department was established in the University Scientific Library. The Institute of History and Political Science started its work at the Faculty of History. The Scientific and Research Laboratory was established at the Department of Physical Rehabilitation of the Faculty of Physical Education and Sports. A separate division of the University Law College was established a year later. The Publishing and Information Department started its work as a part of the Center for Information Technology. The Department of Labor, Environmental and Agricultural Law was established at Law Institute. The Department of Statistics and Higher Mathematics was established at the Faculty of Mathematics and Computer Science. In 2008, the university founded the Center for Bell Tolling and the Scientific and Research Center Psychology of Personality Development. In 2009, the Scientific and Educational Center Nanomaterials in Generating and Energy Storage Devices was established on the basis of the Precarpathian National University with the assistance of U.S. Agency for International Development (CIDF) and the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine within the framework of Bilateral Cooperation Program in Scientific and Technical Research and Education (CREST). Financing of the center was provided by CRDF and the Ministry of Education and Science on a parity basis. The center is the first to be supported by the U.S. Agency for International Development. The program aimed to accelerate Ukraine's transition to knowledge economy on the basis of science and higher education strengthening in Ukraine. In 2010, the Statistical Analysis Laboratory was established. The Department of Tourism and Tourism Specializations started its work at the Institute of Tourism. The Institute of History and Political Science established the Department of Foreign Languages and Translation and the Room of Numismatics. The Center for Innovation, Activity and Technology Transfer started its work as a part of the Scientific and Research Unit of the university. Sports Complex Olympus was opened. The Educational and Scientific Laboratory of Carbon Nanomaterials and Supercapacitors was established a year later. In April 2012, Doctor of Political Sciences, Professor Vasyl was elected as a rector of the university. The educational and scientific base of the university, its scientific potential began to increase. There appeared new educational divisions, courses and specialties at the university and the number of students began to grow. That year, in May, the Department of Life Safety was established. The Department of Educative Work was reorganized into the Department of Educative, Psychological and Educational Work. Educational and Scientific Institute of Postgraduate Education and Distance Learning was established. The Licensing and Accreditation Department started its work. A separate division of Ivano-Frankivsk College of SHE Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University was established. In addition, 2 international projects were implemented successfully. The establishment of the International University Center of the Ukrainian Polish Youth in the village of Mykolikin, Nadvelna district, the innovation of the unique high-altitude observatory on Mount Ivan done on the EU funds. The year of 2014 opened the Educational Scientific Laboratory of Biological Ecology at the Institute of Natural Sciences as well as embodied national contact points and SPs of EU Horizon 2020 programs for nanotechnologies, advanced materials and advanced modern production. The Department of Journalism was created at the Institute of Philology in 2014. The monument to Roman Hurricane was unveiled on October 14, 2014 at the university campus. The student of the Department of Philosophy was killed in February 2014 in Kiev during the Revolution of Dignity. Today, educational and scientific work is carried out by 1,003 full-time lecturers in 80 departments, among them 108 doctors of science, professors, 635 candidates of sciences, associate professors. There are 3 academicians of the State Academies of Sciences of Ukraine, corresponding member of the NAS of Ukraine, corresponding member of the Academy of Arts of Ukraine, 3 national artists of Ukraine, 10 honored artists of Ukraine, 16 honored workers of culture of Ukraine, 13 honored workers of science and technology of Ukraine, 5 honored workers of arts of Ukraine, 9 honored workers of education of Ukraine, 1 honored worker of higher school of Ukraine, 7 honored lawyers of Ukraine, 3 honored painters of Ukraine, 1 honored economist of Ukraine, 3 honored workers of physical culture and sports of Ukraine, 3 honored trainers of Ukraine, and 8 honored masters of sports of Ukraine. There is a postgraduate course in 54 specialties for a Doctor of Philosophy degree and a Doctor of Science degree in 7 specialties. About 16,000 students are trained in 15 directions and 48 specialties for junior specialist, bachelor's and master's degrees. For the time of its activity, the university has trained more than 140,000 specialists. The university maintains close relations with many scientific and educational institutions of the world, prepares and implements joint research programs. Today the university has 7 leading scientific schools: the Research School of Physical and Chemical Problems of Materials, Study of Thin Films, the School of Magnetism and Nanotechnologies, the Precarpathian History School, the History of Education and Pedagogical Thought in Delicia, the Problems of Semantic Syntax, the Precarpathian Practical Academic School of Comparative Studies, and Biology Scientific School, Mountain Forestry and Bioindication. Moving on to the next segment, we have rectors. 2012 Stefanyk, Ivano-Frankivsk. 2005-2012 Stefanyk, Bohdan Konstantinovic. 1986-2004 Kononenko, Vitaly Ivanovich. 1980-1986 Kukaruk, Ivan Mitrofanovic. 1980-1982 Vashuta, Ivan Kirillovic. 1967-1980 Ustenko, Alexandra Andreevich. 1957-1967 Kravets, Vasyl Stefanyk. 1956-1957 Shevchenko, Ivan Ryarovich. 1953-1956 Rechik, Grigory Tudorovich. 1950-1953 Shvetsov, Konstantin Ivanovich. 1949-1950 Boilo, Viktor Andreevich. 1945-1949 Bofko, Trokim Zakharovich. 1940-1941 Plotnitsky, Fedor Ivanovich. Brace yourself for an in-depth analysis as we navigate through institutes and faculties and its far-reaching implications. Institute of Philology. Share of Ukrainian language. Share of Ukrainian literature. Share of world literature and comparative literature studies. Share of Slavonic language. Share of general and German language studies. Share of journalism. Institute of Pedagogy. Stuparik Share of Pedagogy. Share of Philology and Methodology of Elementary Education. Share of Theory and Methodology of Preschool and Remedial Education. Share of Mathematical and Natural Disciplines of Elementary Education. Share of Theory and Methodology of Elementary Education. Share of Social Pedagogy and Social Work. Share of Art Disciplines of Elementary Education. Faculty of Philosophy. Share of Pedagogic and Age Psychology. Share of General and Clinical Psychology. Share of Philosophy and Psychology. Share of Religion Studies, Theology and Cultural Studies. Share of Social Psychology. Faculty of Mathematics and Computer Science. Share of Differential Equations and Applied Mathematics. Share of Mathematical and Functional Analysis. Share of Information Science. Share of Statistics and Higher Mathematics. Share of Algebra and Geometry. Share of Informational Technologies. Faculty of Foreign Languages. Share of English Philology. Share of German Philology. Share of Foreign Languages. Share of French Philology. Faculty of Physics and Technology. Share of Computer Engineering and Electronics. share of theoretical and experimental physics, share of materials science and latest technologies, share of physics and chemistry of solids, faculty of economics, share of finance, share of accounting and audit, share of management and marketing, share of economic cybernetics, share of theoretical and applied economics, faculty of physical education and sports, share of theory and methods of physical training and sports, share of sport and pedagogic disciplines, share of physical rehabilitation, Educational and Research Institute of Postgraduate Education and Distance Learning, share of management and business administration. With that being said, let's now move on to the scientific library. The Scientific Library of Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University was founded in 1944. In 2000, the library received the status of the scientific institution. It has a substantial and unique informational fund, more than 600,000 books in Ukrainian, Russian, Polish, English, French, German, Chinese, Czech, Spanish and other languages, 20,000 musical publications, 50,000 periodicals, authors' abstract, dissertations and graduation projects, an integrated electronic catalog, electronic database. The library consists of 5 departments: Scientific and Educational Literature Department, Acquisition and Scientific Processing Department, Information and Bibliography Department, Scientific and Methodological Department, Information Technology and Computer Software Department. Readers have also access to 16 reading rooms with the capacity of 980 seats, 2 circulation desks, and 4 library departments in Kolomyia, Kalush, Rakiv, and Chortkiv. The Information and Bibliography Department is the main library information center that offers access to catalogs, indexes, bibliographic description. The reference fund of the department contains more than 6,000 copies. In October 2005, the automated library system of Biblioteca was purchased. Its goal is to create a unified automated bibliographic information system. Since 2008, a scientific library website has been operating. Thus, users can get certain information about the divisions and units of the library, find useful information for teaching and research activities. In particular, permanent access to the electronic library catalog is available via the Internet. Using the local network and the library website, you can obtain access to the electronic library and thus to full-text scientific, educational and methodical publications by the scholars of the university. There is an opportunity to provide interlibrary loan service and electronic document delivery. Students can also use Ivano-Frankivsk region libraries services. There is a virtual bibliographical reference with the help of which queries are performed every day according to the mode of admission. The electronic reading room is equipped with 25 workplaces where visitors have access to the fund of electronic documents and local databases. In the reading halls, book exhibitions are on display, literary studies, round tables, and readers' conferences are organized. The library staff provides methodical current advice for first-year, undergraduate, and final-year students. Brace yourself for a deep dive into international cooperation as we explore its impact and relevance in our evolving narrative. In order to implement the principles of the Bologna Declaration, Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University draws particular attention to international cooperation, expands and improves its activity. To realize the plan about international cooperation in education, the university has made and continues to make a number of arrangements that prove its developing status in this sphere. The university implies the following objectives: to cooperate with the most competitive universities in the Central and Eastern Europe, to implement great common projects so that to be recognized and to stand out among other universities, to provide students, postgraduates and lecturers exchanges with the universities of Europe and Asia in order to expand cooperation with foreign partners. The setup of research is joint with international educational establishments is in the mainstream of the university activity. It is important to note that Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University and Warsaw University Poland are among the creators of the consortium between Warsaw University and 10 Ukrainian universities. Since 2014, the university has been a part of the consortium of universities in Baltic region and Ukraine. The university concluded 56 partnerships with different foreign educational and scientific establishments. A partnership between academic and research institutes of the University of Warsaw, Jagiellonian University in Krakow, the Academy of Mining and Metallurgy in Krakow, the Pomeranian Academy in Shupsk, the University of Rzeszów, Vytautas Magnus University in Kaunas, the University of Latvia, Vilnius University, the University of Valencia, the University in Port, Lund University, the University of Poitiers, the Tian-Shan-Tasik University, the Charles University in Prague, the Brest State Technical University, the University of the Republic of San Marino, the Stefan Selme University of Suceava, Romania. Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University is a member of the following international associations and organizations: the European University Association EUA Brussels, Belgium, the Eurasian Association of Universities EAU Moscow, Russia. The European Commission supported our university in implementing the following projects: the International Meeting Center of Ukrainian and Polish Students, Warsaw, Poland, the University of Warsaw; the reconstruction of Astronomical Observatory on Mountain Pip Ivan, Warsaw, Poland, the University of Warsaw. Students of Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University have the opportunity to take part in different international arrangements which the university suggests: trainings abroad, double diploma programs, international relations, science of law, computer science, mathematics, physics, philosophy, tourism, primary education, and physical training, participation in international conferences, students interchange, and conducting scientific research work at foreign educational establishments. Within 2014-2015, the amount of assignments accomplished by the students and the faculty members abroad has increased in comparison with 2013-2014. In addition, the international authority of Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University is growing. The state and public institutions organize a range of international arrangements, so with every year the number of official foreign visits is increasing. Scientists successfully participate in different international scientific educational projects. Besides, grant providers promote the development of international cooperation. In particular, within the Cross-European Cooperation Programme, Vasyl Stefanyk Precarpathian National University has become a partner of the Programme Januszy Erasmus Mundus. It is carried out due to the financial support of the European Commission, which provides mobility for students of bachelor and master programs, postgraduates, lecturers, EU universities collaborators and country partners collaborators. I appreciate your time and I'm grateful for every like, comment, and share.